Yo, 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 yo. Welcome to the No Life Tech Podcast. We air every Wednesday on the dot, sometime during the day. So not really a dot, more like on the spectrum. The No Life Tech Podcast is. News-wise, there's really not much news. Make sure you just hit up our Twitch, our Twitter, our Instagram, and our website. Follow us all over the place over there. Doing my best to try to get more of my subscribers from other areas into here so we can start growing the channel a little bit more, getting a little bit more eyes over here, trying to tap into a couple other markets as well, or industries, I should say, while we're adding, a couple other new sections to the website, such as a drug section and, adding other podcasts on the network as well, like my kind of business related podcast. It should be coming soon. I've been trying to put this thing together for months now, and I have 2 episodes shot now, and I just don't exactly know if I want to reshoot them or if I want to upload them as is or if I want to do it a different way. But just follow us, keep your eyes peeled on that, and you'll have your updates on it. So make sure you're bookmarking our website and you're subscribed to the channel, all that good stuff. Stay updated on some No Life stuff. And without further ado, before we get into that, just remember that the gaming podcast airs on Tuesday and the tech podcast airs now on Wednesday. We changed it from Friday over to Wednesday, and I don't want you to forget that, okay? And when you see the website, you're going to see like the first kind of like video. It's just like a big video. That's usually where the gaming video is going to be, the gaming weekly podcast. I feel like that one is a little bit more popular than, or at least a little bit more recognizable, because that's kind of what we started on. So I've been kind of featuring that one, but if it's past Wednesday, if you just go into the video section of the site, and I can show you here, you'll see that that's where all the videos are. You'll also see the new podcast, The Music Hole, which is also audio only in our podcast. So if you click on the podcast section, it'll bring you, and there's like a little library with all our recent shows here, so you can dive into some of the recent ones. And then if you subscribe to iTunes and Android, you have the whole back catalog. Now, we didn't start out with an audio only podcast, only up until I want to say a little bit before February, where we started to actually upload onto a separate podcast audio only files. So you're not getting like episode 1 and episode 2. Those are only on YouTube. Because that's, we didn't have the website until later, and that led us into putting together the audio side. But subscribe on us there, and then you'll get, your podcast into your podcatchers, all of them too, not just iTunes and Google Play Radio. Pretty much every single podcatcher out there you can listen to our show on. And like I said, there's the Music Hole on there, which is a new show that Loco and our friend Matt does. That's over on his Twitch channel, Matthew Casanda, if you want to watch that. Loco, when is the Music Hole air on live? Is it Sundays?
It's not really a set date. It's on the weekend. Like, we joined the Discord because I always set up some kind of alert when we're about to go live for Music Hole. But yeah, it's going to be anywhere from Friday or Saturday night, hopefully.
Okay.
Sunday if we have to.
Yeah.
Scheduling allows.
Yeah.
Do it on Friday or Saturday.
Yeah, make sure you join the Discord. Any updates that we have are also on the Discord. It usually goes on Discord first. So join us on the Discord. You can see the link right here on the website as well. And you can just click on it and it'll just join you in there. There's other sections on the Discord, like, each section is broken out. So you have a gaming section, tech section, crypto. We have like latest articles, videos, and stuff like that. So anything that we do, you'll be notified on the Discord. All right. Any other news that kind of pertain to anything else? I think that's it. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. We got over 100 followers on Instagram right now. We're rocking and rolling. Let's get a couple hundred more. All right, let's keep it growing. All right, let's move into our first section, which is what we've been listening, using, and watching. And there's really a couple shows that just got they kind of restarted. Their seasons just premiered. 1 Billions on Showtime. Have you guys ever seen this show?
Billions? No.
Yeah. I highly recommend it if you like Andrew Sorkin and like his type of I don't know, video shit. Cinematography, dialogue thing. Like, it's super heavy dialogue, but he was the guy who created, he did all the dialogue for, like, The Social Network. He does a bunch of shows, man. Law and Order, I think, or some type of law show. He does that, or The West Wing. He was the guy on The West Wing. He has a new show called Billions. It's in its 3rd season. It stars the dude from Homeland, the redheaded dude from Homeland, and Paul Giamatti. And Paul Giamatti, it's my favorite. I love Paul Giamatti. This is my favorite fucking Paul Giamatti character that he plays, man. It's so good. He plays like the attorney general trying to take down these really big CEOs, but it's cast in like a real modern day contemporary society. So you have, you know, a lot of like weird kind of investor shit going on. You have big industries colluding with each other, and it's basically like these 2 industry titans fighting it out. Great show. Season 3 started off with a fucking bang at the end of the a little spoiler alert. At the end of season 3, episode 1, which is the one that just aired, you basically get to see Paul Giamatti in a BDSM reenactment scene, which is fucking amazing. So just imagine Paul Giamatti bent over, butt ass naked, and this woman whipping him with leather whips, and, you know, he gets into some cuckoldry. Is that a word? Cuckoldry?
Yeah, I imagine that you can use it in that context.
That's just the kind of, just setting the tone there for the type of show that you're getting into. It's fucking awesome. Silicon Valley. Have you guys seen Silicon Valley?
I do not watch it.
Not in a hot minute.
Oh man, you guys are missing out on that too. It's fucking hilarious.
Dude, I only pay for HBO when it's that season.
Wait, when Silicon Valley's on?
No. When the other thing that's on HBO is on.
What, Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Yeah. Silicon Valley's good, dude. Is it worth paying HBO for? No.
Exactly.
But
that's my problem. It is really good. I think I watched the first 2 seasons. They were really good.
Yeah.
But were they like $15 a month good? Yeah.
I love HBO. I watch all HBO shows. I don't think there's one thing on HBO I don't like. But I think I would say I watch HBO more than I watch Netflix.
No, that's fair. If that's what you're into, because like I would be more tempted to do it now because they also have Westworld.
Yeah,
like,
Westworld.
Come back out.
But like for a while there, it was like, I'm not paying for just Silicon Valley.
I like HBO for comedy. Curb is always good, and Veep is a great series.
Yeah, I don't know what, like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a show I don't like a modern show that I don't like from HBO. I don't think there is any.
Did you like?
Don't get me wrong,
The Leftovers?
Oh, I haven't seen that one actually, but I hear that one's really good.
I like The Leftovers, but it is kind of hard to like.
I would say I would definitely rather pay for HBO than cable,
Yeah.
by far. But yeah,
I don't pay for it though. Luckily, I just steal my fucking parents' fucking HBO account. Cause they have like the Xfinity bundle, and they don't know that. So if they're watching,
no, dude, that's actually Xfinity's been trying hard to get me to start paying for cable again, and it hasn't worked so far. But how they're doing that is
those packages, dude.
Yeah, well, no, it's even similar to that. They're trying to tempt me with choose any 10 channels for $22, and then you get HBO, Stars, Cinema, or Cinemax. Like, you get all of them for $15 extra. That's more tempting, but
what's the catch?
not tempting enough.
The catch is it's Comcast, dude.
Yeah,
That's the
no,
catch.
that's Spectrum.
Oh,
You gotta have a
Spectrum.
landline too.
Yeah.
Catch is that you have to sign a 2-year contract, and after the first year,
You don't. That is the cool
$85.
thing with Spectrum. You don't. Yeah, all those Spectrum's shits, no contract now, which is kind of cool.
And how many people have landlines?
That might be worth it
because
then.
of triple play?
Yeah, no, I mean it's tempting because I mean it's $22 for 10 channels. Choose any of them. Choose any cable channel. Not any cable channel, but like they have a listing of pretty much most of their cable channels.
That's all I want.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
It's tempting, but then I also remember I still wouldn't probably watch enough to get even that out of it.
I recently, just to watch some of March Madness, I recently started the free trial of YouTube TV.
I have
Yeah.
YouTube TV. I pay for YouTube TV.
I did for a while, and it's YouTube TV is good,
Yeah.
but I also didn't watch it enough to pay for it, so I stopped paying for it.
Yeah, the only reason I will have it is because Kate likes her fucking Bravo show, and that's it.
When I want to watch sports, I just hit up Reddit.
Also throwing you heads up, any of the games that are on CBS, you can also watch for free using they let you watch 3 hours for free, but whoever coded their website didn't factor in anything.
Incognito?
Incognito, so it just resets every time you open Incognito.
Yeah.
That's great.
So you can watch all the basketball for free. Just saying.
As long as
That's
it's on
all I've been doing.
CBS.
Which I think all the rest of the games are.
Yeah, I mean, there's only.
It's all about Loyola
Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Man.
Sister Jean's getting her ass wrecked.
Villanova, baby. Nova versus fucking Kansas
Yeah.
is going to be fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good game. I'm not expecting anything out of this Michigan game.
I
The
have.
Michigan Florida State game was AIDS.
Yeah, it was. I have Villanova winning it all on my bracket.
That's who I'm hoping. I'm rooting for him.
I gotta
Got a championship for Coach Jay Wright.
root for the college that's within an hour of me. So
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm just rooting for the closest fucking school near me.
That's Nova.
Yeah. All right. So, Silicon Valley, third season, fucking dope. HBO is dope. Let's talk about Walking Dead real quick, dude.
do
Fucking
we really have to?
Walking Dead. I have you here in our notes. Walking Dead is so fucking retarded.
And then I added so shocking.
So what happened is this is a big controversy in the Walking Dead world, right? So a couple episodes ago, they were talking about how they were going to Negan started to like put zombie guts all over his weapons, and they were going to, kind of just cut the people and infect them with the disease, right? So you think, that sounds like a good idea. That sounds like it could work. The problem is there's a huge plot hole there. It's because there has been so many, I want to say like 3 or 4 episodes where it was vital to the success of them getting out of whatever predicament it was
By putting zombie guts on themselves.
Yeah, it's like a common zombie trope is that you cover yourself in zombie and you act like a zombie. It's in Shaun of the Dead. It's in so many zombie movies. But now all of a sudden, if you get the zombie guts on an open wound, well, you become infected. And we didn't expect it to work. Like I was expecting they were gonna try it and maybe it was gonna just backfire because they didn't know that they already knew this, or something was gonna happen where like it just didn't matter. But that's not what happened. So last night's episode, basically there was like a small attack and the good guys won. It was actually a really cool fight scene there. And then they're like healing up. They're all sleeping in this one corridor thing. They're healing up, and then they all start turning into zombies because they were all cut by these things. So we're just like, what the fuck, man? What are you doing? Because they get away from the comics, by killing off Carl, by doing all these weird things, by killing off Lori way back when in this weird kind of abortion thing. Like they get away from the comics, but then they go with the comics on this stupid shit because this is a problem in the comics as well, And I don't understand, the kind of direction that I feel like there's just no direction. They're just kind of winging it from here on out. I don't think I'm gonna continue watching after the season. It's once they have Negan, I don't think I'm gonna care enough.
They're just, they're just relying on the fact that you'll believe that all those other times they covered themselves in zombie guts in a post-apocalyptic setting, they didn't have a single scratch on them.
Yeah. I don't understand because you gotta know.
I mean, ignore the open facial wounds during these scenes. That was fake. Okay, it's all good.
Well, you gotta also think like the writers know this. They can't not know this. It's not like it's a simple oversight. Like they knew that this was a thing that they were gonna have to try to talk around. And I don't know if they're gonna ever explain it. It's just we're just gonna have to. There's just too much plot armor in this fucking show.
And welcome to the world of why most people hate retconning.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Retconning sucks in most things.
It's just, man, it's a shame because I had high hopes for the season, or at least for the end of the season. But it's just, I don't know. Negan wasn't even in the last episode, and who knows? There's only a couple episodes left, so we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it finishes off, and I will let you know if I am happy or disappointed, because I want the show to win. I want the show to get good again.
You're gonna be disappointed.
I want the show to fucking be good again, dude. But we'll see. Because how good was that first Walking Dead episode, dude? This is such a good fucking season, man. That first Walking Dead season is so goddamn good. And then it just was all downhill from there.
Yep.
All right. Anything else that you guys have been doing, listening to, using anything lately before we get into news?
I finally got around to watching the last episode of Dragon Ball Super.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that finale was last week. Yep.
Yep. It was okay. It just felt super rushed. Kind of like the whole show in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I personally thought that, they should have just let Dragon Ball die.
I think the best
90s.
I think the best argument somebody made was like, if they had decided to make the arcs into movies instead of doing like 30 episodes of like this whole arc with filler, if they just made it a 2-hour movie with nice animation, it would have been so much better. Like even this last arc could have been 2 movies, and that would have done, like, the animation in the season, like in the finale, was great. The animation in the last 2 episodes were actually some of the best animation Dragon Ball has ever done. But they should have been movies with that same level of animation instead of 131 episodes of filler.
Oh, they got to keep you locked in, dude.
I mean, I guess they felt like they needed to come back and try to do a redemption after Dragon Ball GT.
I will say that the ending was better than Dragon Ball Z's ending. That ending was awful. Like the very last episode of Dragon Ball Z was one of the worst episodes.
I don't even remember.
Dragon Ball GT's ending was actually really good.
Man, fuck Dragon Ball.
For as bad as that whole show was, the ending was actually good.
I made the mistake, I guess, of, I don't know, like I watched Dragon Ball as a kid. I watched Dragon Ball Z as a kid, but I watched Dragon Ball GT as an adult. And it was just terrible. It was so bad. It was so
great ideas. Like the ideas were really good. Like the concepts were great, but the execution was completely bad. Like the idea of Dragon Balls like being misused and abused so much that they actually become evil. That's a great concept. I love that idea. They did not do a good job of like actually following through with it.
Was it more geared towards like children that season?
It wasn't even made by Akira Toriyama, and that's why it's so bad.
Yeah, it was not a Toriyama thing. Like at least Super was Toriyama.
Yeah.
And there's a Dragon Ball Super movie coming in December anyway.
Are you gonna watch it?
Yeah, of course I am.
You're super fan.
The movies are good. Like I liked Battle of Gods, and I really liked Resurrection of F, which was the Frieza movie. So the movies are good. So I'm down for the movie. It's just the series wasn't that great. They would have been better as movies.
All right. Disappointing. We're all disappointed by a couple shows. It happens, man. I was not disappointed by Billions, though. Go watch. I highly recommend it. All right, Jerry. Let's talk about the computer case article that you wrote. You can check it over at nolife.digital. Looks like you're purchasing a new computer case and you're looking for the best one, right?
Yeah, at some point. I mean, if going through the article, basically it's been like, okay, I'm way too far deep down this rabbit hole that I've been looking at cases for 6 months and I've been indecisive about them.
It's a big move because you got to remember the case is like a chassis of a car, you know? So your upgrades are dependent upon the case, and not all cases are alike. You want it to look good, but you don't want to sacrifice on certain things. So it isn't as easy as picking like a graphics card or a stick of RAM. Like there's just a little bit more that you need to kind of factor in.
Well, that too, and it will outlast all of those things.
Right.
Like if it's a properly designed case, I mean, I still have cases that are 20 years old that still work fine.
Yeah.
Like
I still have my old HP case that's basically just a fucking HP chassis, but I can build in it. I can make a little HT PC in there.
Yeah. So like it was mostly going through all of those thoughts basically, and just kind of like giving ideas of what to consider that could be important in that purchasing aspect. Like, do you care more about aesthetics? Do you care more about thermals? Do you care more about ease of building? Things like that.
Right.
Like for me, I don't give a shit how easy it is to build in it. I should, but I've built in some of literally the cheapest cases ever made and had no problems. So at this point, I just don't care anymore. I'd rather get the best thermals and looks that I can for my money.
Yeah. Well, I think building in it for me is important. I bought a case. I think it was before this one. It might have been before this one. I don't remember exactly which one it was. But the IO shields of my motherboards, I thought there was something wrong with them, but it was actually the case where the IO shield just wouldn't fit, and it fucking drove me insane. And the SD slots that were underneath, it sits underneath the motherboard. So I put the motherboard in first instead of putting in the SSDs first, and that was a problem as well. And it was just like these simple things that I didn't think about until afterwards, and I'm like, motherfucker, this is such an annoying thing to build in. But I can understand too, like, you know, cases these days, they're pretty big, they're pretty open, and you shouldn't have too much of an issue building in them, you know?
Well, yeah, and it's partially that, and it's also like where you, I guess, how much you value your time would be like where that goes. Where like for me, it's like, okay, that's a factor to definitely factor in, but I don't mind spending an extra hour building a computer if I'm planning on saying, hey, this thing's gonna last for 6 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like that. In that case, no, I want the best thermals, like quite frankly.
Yeah.
But
so would you say thermals is the most important part for you?
yeah, it's closely followed by aesthetics.
Yeah, me too.
Because I don't put my computer on the floor. I think you're a heathen if you put your computer on the floor. And so it's got to look nice enough to be kind of a focus piece.
Yeah. I don't have mine on the floor per se, but close to the floor. I have a platform for my PC.
Yeah, that's better. It's just, I don't know, dude. Like putting it straight on the floor is just like
on the carpet.
Yeah, like why, dude? Like why are you doing? Okay, so you just spent like $2,000, and like the thing that's gonna kill this computer the easiest is dust. So you put it
right near your
next
feet.
to your feet. Like,
Yeah.
Why, dude?
Yeah.
But yeah, like so it's mostly going through a lot of that and outlining what I think have been some of the best designs and cases lately.
So I don't want to give away the full article. Feel free to read it on the website if you want to check it out. But we have the bold ones here that I think are your picks here. So you think the one with the best thermals is the Meshify, which was one that I was looking at before.
Of newest ones, yeah. Like there are cases that have better thermals, but this was also in a budget range of around $100.
Okay.
And around that $100, slightly less, yeah, that it's got pretty kick-ass thermals. If you wanted straight pure thermals, there's something like Silverstone RL06. That thing's the champ. But it's also, some people really love it. I think it's butt fucking ugly. So, like, and it's off my list.
And the Meshify looks sick.
Meshify looks sick, yeah. I'm not completely sold on how they did the mesh, but I think it's a really cool concept. I think they could have made some of the shapes a little bit more dynamic to like change how the actual like design is. But for people who don't know, basically it's a full mesh panel, but they punched out certain shapes in like rectangles almost. So it has more of a jagged look to it. And I think some of that, in some places, it could have been lessened out so it's not as extreme. But overall, it's a gorgeous looking case.
Yeah, big ass tempered glass on the side.
Yeah, and thermalized, it's fucking fantastic. There's also a couple coming out sometime this year from Lian Li that look cool. But yeah, mostly it was just I've gotten in way too deep of looking at computer cases for the last 6 months.
Yeah, it's like, dude, it's like buying a car, man.
Yeah, like, well, it's not even that bad, but it's more just, I don't know, it's more fun because I don't need a new computer case. I just really want one.
Yeah.
And I'm turning into like, dude, I don't know, my YouTube, if you go to my YouTube, my first recommended is probably going to be a new case review.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh.
Like Hardware Canucks or some
Okay.
shit.
Yeah. It's like, oh, all right. I'm in pretty deep. All right.
I mean, from someone who owns the S340, I don't own the Elite. I don't have the one with the tempered glass. It's like a plastic panel, clear panel. I will say I like it. I like it a lot. It's super open. I can put, you know, it's not the biggest case, so it doesn't like. I don't think I can put like a full, you know, honking water cool thing in there. But I do have a AIO kit in there, and it fits perfectly fine. I have it right on the front panel. I have a fan on the top and the back, and super easy to build in. Things just slot right in. It looks clean, and I have no fucking qualms about it. I have a white one though, and I am realizing I don't want white. So I've been looking at a new case too, just because I just don't like the white color. I'm looking at black cases, and that's why I looked at the Meshify, and that one looks like I might be taking that one next.
Yeah, right now, top two under like those criteria of thermals and aesthetics. Thermals, I take the Meshify, and I also like the Meshify how it looks the better personally. The S340 Elites looks beautiful too. That's a great fucking case. It's not as good thermal wise because it's still restricted airflow. It's not fully unrestricted, but they did a good job of putting that front bar far enough so the fans don't completely choke, but it's still not as great as a mesh panel.
Yeah,
pretty much. But that one's also really tempting because NZXT puts a bunch of combo deals out now, and some of their combo deals are kind of enticing, like an S340 Elite and a Kraken X62 280 millimeter CLC for $207. That's pretty fucking tempting if you're in the market for both of those things.
Yeah, let's just look at the price of them separately. So the S340 Elite's about $100.
Yeah, it's usually 90, 100, and then the Kraken X62 is usually 150. You can find them cheaper on sale a lot, but usually still like 135.
That's a pretty good deal, man. That's a pretty good deal.
But I would still rather have a Meshify.
Yeah.
Or we'll see. Maybe these. I'm mostly waiting for these Lee and Lee cases that were shown at CES because they look fucking sick.
The 011 one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks fucking awesome.
And it's all mostly mesh and has.
I want to see how big it is.
Yeah.
I can't really quite tell this. Oh, it also has a USB 3.1 on the front. We were talking about that.
Because no cases do.
Yeah. It looks a little big though.
Yeah, but I'm okay with that.
It does look sick. I like the dual kind of compartments and shit. Lee makes, I think, some of the best looking cases. Not quite as practical. They're definitely a little bit more on the pricier side. But like some of the cases that we see them at these conventions are just fucking awesome looking.
Yeah, if you're going pure aesthetics, I think NZXT takes the crown.
Yeah, they definitely got more modern. Especially throw one of their new motherboards in there. It'd be sick.
Yeah, but why would you do that? I'm still so torn about that motherboard because it's
all aesthetics.
Yeah, dude,
That's
it looks great. It's a shit motherboard.
If you want it to look nice and fucking blocky like some Legos. All right, moving on. And then I recently just wrote a little tiny article about the Unreal Engine kind of showcase at GDC 2018. We talked a little bit about the new Unreal stuff last week, and we got some footage of the event and exactly what this like real-time ray tracing thing can show off. There was also some other stuff like augmented reality stuff. Like they showed how they were able to kind of in real time produce during a live show this like 3D dragon that would fly around the stadium and you could see it on TV, which I thought was pretty cool for like broadcast stuff. There was also some like gaming stuff for Fortnite with replays and stuff. But ultimately it was the technology and the new Unreal Engine tech features that kind of people were pretty excited about. And when you see like, did you guys watch it at all? Did you see like when the Andy Serkin was like talking and they showed his face in CG and then his face as like a fucking dragon monster in CG?
No, I did not.
So if you check it out, it's around the 24-minute mark, 25-minute mark, and you can see they're getting really good at being able to kind of figure out what it is that makes like a human face look human. You know, it's still not quite there yet. It's like you could still tell that you're looking at CG, but the skin looks a lot better, and you're also getting more nuance like around the eyes and in the neck and in the mouth. Like just the subtle little like movements in a person's face are starting to show up in real time. So we're going to see this kind of move over into gaming, which is going to be fucking awesome, man. And then they showed the siren thing. I don't know exactly what to call. I guess it's a tech demo. And essentially it was this computer generated woman who's talking all the same kind of crazy shit that's going on with her face, like the movements in her eyes, the subsurface scattering in her skin, but it's actually being controlled live by some woman that has like a whole thing on her face. So basically it's like, you know, those little motion detectors around her body, little white balls, and then a camera just pointing straight at her face and then relayed over through their engine into this kind of CG environment, and it looks so dope. They're partnered with NVIDIA and a couple other companies to kind of produce some of that. Tencent being another one. I think Tencent really just funds everything nowadays.
Dude, their new stuff with the Star Wars stuff too is like better than it has been in most Star Wars movies.
Yeah, it's unreal, dude. It's fucking crazy looking. So we'll show you now. Trying to get it to load. So this is where they're showing off the real-time ray tracing, which is essentially the way that light is distributed amongst the scene. And normally it would take a while for it to kind of render. You would put all of the light sources in, you would put all the shadows in and all of the different type of materials, and you would have to render it out, let it wait and render, and then you would have your scene. And it would look pretty good. But now they're able to do it on the fly in real time. And they show in the tech demo like all the different types of shadow diffusions, so you can have like a really hard shadow all the way to like a nice diffuse shadow, and they show it like how they're doing it in real time by changing the light sources, changing the way that the shadows are cast, and it just looks so fucking good. And then they have in like another crazy stormtrooper Boba Fett looking dude in like an all chrome uniform, and that's where they really show like the ray tracing, all the reflections, the refractions on how like you know, how the light would refract on certain materials. And then you realize it's all done live, real time, on a $60,000 graphic card, but nonetheless it's still done in real time. And
pseudo AR, because it's also like your camera angle's literally being controlled by a fucking iPad.
Yeah, insane, dude, insane. And that was another thing that they showed in the siren thing, was like when you kind of step back and you look at the scene, you could, like, at least on human faces, it looked a little bit, you know, kind of fake. But when they were zooming into the face, the CG face with the iPad, you couldn't really tell if you were what you were looking at was real or CG. Like, it gets more difficult when you're just kind of just showing like a piece of the eye or a piece of the mouth. So I think like for gaming, when this gets translated into gaming down the line, it's just going to be awesome, man, because it's just getting super impressive in what they can do with the technology that we have at the consumer level, the production level, and now with the engine supporting it. Like, you know, so many people so many developers are using Unreal already, you know, so it's just having them kind of implement this stuff into those already built engines is going to make it even better. And I think, you know, graphics exponentially just keep getting better. Like, it's going to get crazy. And that's pretty much what this whole kind of convention is, or not convention, but the keynote was kind of show. They were just kind of swinging their dick, man. That's what Unreal was doing. They were swinging that big epic dick, and it looks dope. All right, let's get into some other news. YouTube's new policy on firearm-related videos. Here we go. So, their policy here states, we saw a lot of people freaking out that they were shutting down gun channels. I don't know if any gun channels got shut down. Maybe one. But their new policy specifically states if YouTube prohibits certain kinds of content featuring firearms, specifically, we don't allow content that intends to sell firearms or certain firearms accessories through direct sales or links to sites that sell these items. These accessories include, but may not be limited to, accessories that enable a firearm to simulate automatic fire or convert a firearm to automatic fire. excuse me, e.g. Bump stock, Gatling triggers, drop-in auto sears, conversion kits, and high-capacity magazines, and then provides instructions on manufacturing a firearm, ammunition, high-capacity magazine, homemade silencers, suppressors, or certain firearms accessories, such as those listed above, and then show users how to install the above-mentioned accessories or modifications. So everyone was kind of like, oh my god, they're taking our guns, they're taking our channels, they're limiting our free speech. But it kind of, if you just cool down a little bit and you kind of take a look at the entire situation, essentially Congress passed a new bill against the FOSTA, I think it's called the FOSTA Act, which is
FASTA,
the Fighting Online Sex Trafficking Act, that basically puts liability on the owners of these websites for certain activities that could be done through its users. And this is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And this is the bigger talk.
Yeah, because this is okay. I think these articles are really related because I think most of this stuff we're seeing is because of FOSTA. The same reason Reddit recently purged a bunch of things, including anything that's basically selling. If anything was being sold on Reddit, they instantly got rid of it.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of crackdown on websites that most people haven't been seeing, but it's definitely going to only increase, I think, because of FOSTA. And the biggest reason is FOSTA was a pretty name to basically get rid of Section 230. And Section 230 basically protected website owners from differentiating the content on their website and what the users say on their website.
Yeah.
So what it used to be is, hey, if you make an article and someone comments some racist shit, well, someone can sue the person who said the racist shit. But now with 230 gone, someone's just gonna sue your website.
Yeah. Yeah. Now,
fucked.
It's meant to say, okay, if there's sex trafficking going on in your comment section or in your, they say it's portrayed as a response to Backpage because there was a lot of that going on Craigslist and on Backpage. So if your users are engaging in that,
230 could already do that. There's actually tons of rules saying you could already do that. They should have just, followed those rules.
Yeah. And and I think it's difficult, because you don't want that going on, especially on your site, but and there should be some sort of liability on the site if that were to happen, that they need to kind of take action and get the fuck off their site, But now this just opens up the door wide open and
to everything.
Yeah, and who knows kind of where they're gonna stop with this, because it just leaves you wide open for all sorts of shit because you can't control what your users fucking do, man. So for instance, I have a website that talks about vaping. And if I have a comment section and someone talks about, hey, drink the nicotine that you're using, and someone says it in my comments, and someone does do that, well, then I could be named liable in this, and I could be, part of some sort of lawsuit or litigation, and I could get into some fucking trouble. And I mean, how many websites do you think that have comment sections where the commenter, where the site is just toxic, such as 4chan, such as Reddit, such as YouTube comments? I mean, it opens up tons of sites, especially porn sites, and Craigslist, and Backpages, and shit like that. It opens up a really interesting scenario where, how do you deal with this now? How is this going to be dealt with? Are we actually going to start to see fines start to get dished out to small websites? Are they really just looking at big sites? I doubt it. They're probably going to say that, but it always comes down to the smaller civil liberties shit that people always get fucked over. And
dude, it's every web dev who's been paying attention to this is fucking terrified. This week's been hell already, because it's not even that. It's all of that shit on top of it, but it's now you can be sued by anyone.
Yeah.
If someone crap, dude, I've already had to close at least 2 comment sections, and I'm probably gonna end up having to close more, because any website, if you have a comment section, you can now be sued because of your comment section.
Mm-hmm.
What the actual fuck, dude? Because that's, the entire internet's basically based off of having a comment section at this point. But now you can be sued for it. So yeah, great. Have fun.
Now,
everyone's going. And the other biggest problem is, would that hold up in the court? Probably not. But no one's signing up to be the first person to be the guinea pig to test this shit.
Right.
Like,
right.
No one's like, oh yeah, dude, I can't wait to be sued and lose all my life savings to make a point.
Yeah, we're getting into a time where I feel like just like censorship is just at an all-time high, but not the right types of censorship. You know, we're not putting liability in the right places. We're hurting innovation. We're hurting growth. We're not looking at the bigger picture here. Now, the Department of Justice not only has called FOSTA unconstitutional, it says the legislation will create additional elements that prosecutors must prove at trial, thereby making it harder to get guilty parties convicted. You're heading in the wrong direction. If you pass a bill that would raise the burden of proof in cases against sex traffickers, Wyden chastised his colleagues. He was one of the 2 senators today, along with Rand Paul, to vote against the measure. Another downside, under FOSTA, any attempts to buy a website or app to filter out bad content could lead to more legal liability. So say someone does do that, and you do see it, right? You see someone is doing something that could be liable under FOSTA, and you delete it. Now you could be implicated for tampering with evidence, you know? Which is fucking crazy. This is like, we're going down crazy fucking road here, dude.
And then why would you choose to like allow this on your website? And then people are wondering why all this stuff's disappearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like it's 2 senators read that actual bill, and 97 did not.
Yeah. Nor care.
Because it passed 97-2, and I'm just sitting here like, kill me.
They just read that it has a nice name, you know, fight online sex trafficking. It sounds like, oh hey, obviously I'm gonna fight against online sex trafficking. Sure, sign the bill. But when you get to the nitty gritty, which is where all of the fucking implications lie, you know, now we see that we're going to see a couple big companies have to face FOSTA, you know, bullshit. Like in Silicon Valley, I don't remember what happened, but essentially in the show, they didn't have like an age verification on their app, and a ton of like 16-year-olds signed up for the app, and then they got hit with like billions of dollars of like FOSTA fines because, you know, it was like a chatting app, a video chatting app, and they didn't know, like, it's just that it doesn't occur to you until it happens, and then you all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I allowed comments on my fucking website, I have to delete this comment, they're talking about fucking child porn, and then now you could be implicated for deleting evidence. So this is a fucking crazy situation, but we're gonna keep our eye on it to make sure that you're updated on what's going on. You know,
yeah, no, I'm still don't get why more people aren't like super fucking pissed off about this.
Yeah, no one fucking knows about it. No one knows about it.
Yeah, dude, it is. No one knows about it, but like the rest, half of the people who hear it are just like, oh, dude, that will never happen. And I
don't know. I didn't know about it, but it sounds really fucking scary to me. Wouldn't you be nervous to be Google and have YouTube right now?
Yeah. That's
or
why
Twitter.
Or Reddit, or any news site, any blog, literally anything.
Anywhere where a random person without your direct authorization can comment on anything.
So, like, every website in existence, basically?
Twitch
pretty much. Yeah, Twitch chat.
And, like, that's what I was saying. It was like, no one's signing up to just be like, yeah, dude, let's bring this on. Yeah. No, dude. Fucking hell, this is just...
Hey. Be quiet.
Hi, River.
He's mad someone's outside. Give me 1 second.
Can you at least mute?
Nah. Nah. Fuck that.
All right.
Wayne never mutes. Fuck that. Actually, wouldn't it just pick up on his end anyway, even if you did mute?
Yeah. Yeah, I would have to mute it on my end. Which I didn't, so I'm sorry for your eardrums, because it was probably loud. But moving on.
No, actually, when you got up, he stopped barking. So
he knows. Oh! Get out of here. Okay, can you call him over? Call him out. Get him out of here.
That is our guest for today's episode.
That's he wants to do an interview. All right. Ow. Get your fucking hand out of my face. All right, so this is a thing that we learned, that I just learned today. I didn't see this until today. But YouTube basically admitted, and there you can see their like to dislike ratio is vastly, I mean, it looks like a reverse fucking any video. There's 4,000 dislikes, only 181 likes. But they basically admitted that when you subscribe to a channel, they don't dish out notifications to everyone. They only dish out notifications to like super active fans that watch your channel, and then the people that click on the bell icon, and that's it. So essentially, the subscribe button doesn't quite mean what you think it means. Now, if you are someone who sometimes watches a channel, you're probably not going to get notifications for a certain channel. There's a certain algorithm that they use to notify people of new videos popping up, you know? Which is why, like, when the whole Logan Paul situation came out, people who weren't subscribed to Logan Paul started getting notifications that, hey, Logan Paul uploaded a new fucking video, which is insane. You know, I don't understand the point of this at all. I don't understand. When you click subscribe, you should be subscribed.
I do to an extent. You're still subscribed. Like, you still have a subscription feed. But as someone who has, like, 400 fucking subscriptions, like, I can't watch that. And
Yeah,
you know what? Most of the shit I don't give a shit about. I subscribe because I watched them for a month. Like, I'll go back to them once a year.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, it's like the only thing the subscriber count is really good for anymore is it's like the gear check of YouTube. You know what I mean? It's like, well, let me look and see how many subscribers this guy has.
Like,
Doesn't have too many. Yeah, probably not going to like him.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a gear check now. It's just a static number. If it has nothing to do with alerts anymore, then
well, it does to an extent. But you actually have to be watching. Like, it's one of those things where, like, I will still get plenty of notifications for stuff I'm watching. Like, if I'm watching a specific person a lot lately, I get notifications for it.
Yeah.
The others that I haven't watched in a year, I don't. Which, I mean, it makes sense to me. I'm actually one of the few people who I like the bell system. I like the bell system of, like, choosing to be able to turn off notifications.
Yeah.
If like, you're really deep into watching way too much YouTube, that spam would kill YouTube in a second for me.
The problem is like, here's the situation.
I do get how it's annoying as fuck for content creators.
Yeah.
Entirely.
Well, also, like, I was using the YouTube app on my phone one day, and I was like, where are these new videos? Because I saw that there was a new video uploaded by a channel that I was following, and I just couldn't find it. And then I realized there's a new way that they kind of package it where it's like, you can either choose for, like, new, like, on your subscription feed, like, most recent, you know, videos that have been released on your subscription feed, or just like whatever their algorithm is. So they basically list your subscriptions in the way that they want it to be laid out. So whatever has the most views or the most traction. I don't really know how it's done. I think it's called like highlights or something. And I didn't realize this for a couple of days. It was like, I don't know why I'm not getting certain notifications. And I realized you have to go into the settings and change it. I have only, I think, 2 channels that I have the bell icon clicked on, and then that's where you actually get a notification where it's like someone uploads a video, you actually see a notification. Where, you know, most channels that I subscribe to, you don't actually get a notification. It's just on your feed, and I don't mind that either. You know, I like having a feed that I go to and where I watch all my channels, but don't fuck the feed up. You know what I mean? Let my feed be the most recent video from these channels. Just let it be like that. And
no, that's always been a problem with how they've dealt it with it for mobile compared to computer, because it is 2 different feeds. It seems like half the time.
Yeah, it's messy. And then you have this YouTube channel where the creator insider, and they tell you it on this YouTube channel that only has 43,000 subscribers. Like, they need to tell everyone when they do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because
I think that is the more important thing. Is that they're. I will always give credit of attempting to be transparent, but how they be transparent's kind of a joke.
Yeah.
Because like they do make the attempt, but the problem is, like, yeah, the attempt is, oh, we'll finally tell you after a year in a YouTube video on some channel we made just for it.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly. And I like how YouTube is trying to do what they have to do to kind of gain the trust of their subscribers back or whatever. But they really need to be a lot more open with what they're trying to do. They need to be more open with the kind of direction that they're going in. Because now that Twitch is coming out and we see people, you know, hopping over to Twitch, they have some serious competition. And if they want to expect to kind of remain on top as like the place to go for content for our age group, they're going to need to continue to do that, you know, and don't fuck people's subscription feeds up and not tell them and release it on a stupid channel like this, and don't fuck their money up and, you know, later on give an explanation why. You know, you kind of have to be upfront about everything. But now we know. We know if your subscriptions are all fucked up, look at your bell icon. If you click that bell, I promise you're going to get a notification for that channel. I've never had an issue with that. It's just when you just subscribe, there's some type of issues there sometimes.
What's the matter? Like, you guys haven't ever heard the saying, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission?
Shoot first, ask questions later? Is that what you mean?
Why ask those questions up front and make those statements up front when you can just do what the fuck you want to and then try to fix it later?
Yeah, that's it.
Because people will steal your website.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like, it's not like Twitch is a bundle of joy at the same time right now either. Because they've finally might have figured out that whole bug that was just dropping subscribers, maybe, somewhat, sort of.
What, Twitch?
Yeah, because back in December and January or so, they had a bug that would just drop subscribers, and they think they finally figured it out, and then sent out 2 emails. The first email said, "Hey, you don't have to do anything. We fixed it for you." And then the second email I got like 2 hours later was like, "Hey, we messed up your subscriptions. You have to resubscribe." And everyone's just been sitting there like, so do I resubscribe? Do I not? You literally just within 2 hours sent me emails that say the exact opposites.
Yeah, I've been having an issue with the mobile Twitch app where if you do audio only, usually I can like exit out and it'll keep playing the audio. But now it's refusing to play the audio.
Oh yeah,
so I have to be in the actual app to have it on audio only to get the audio, which defeats the purpose of audio only. Which I like listening to, you know, podcasts when they, you know, on Twitch.
Yeah.
Audio and chat. Come on, man.
Audio chat?
Dude, I just do the VODs. I just audio only VODs.
All right. Google starts blocking uncertified Android devices from logging in. Custom ROM users get a way out, but noobs with pirated apps will be out of luck. I don't exactly understand, why it's now, you know, but it kind of makes sense.
Bad time, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like it's mostly for pirated apps and pirated things, because like it's not like Android costs anything.
Right.
It's been the entire point and why it's gotten so big is because it's free.
Yeah. All right. And Google is also buying innovative camera startup Lytro for $40 million, which I think is a fucking really good price for Lytro.
No, it is. Yeah. Because I mean, they could do some cool shit with this. Hopefully, we'll see.
Yeah, Lytro is
It's a crazy camera company that basically, like, their first one, it's a box, you know, like this big, but what it is it's actually like 40 different lenses at different focal points and areas.
Yeah. And eventually what the camera does is you can pick your focus after you take the photo. It just takes it and then you pick your focus after, which is fucking cool. And seeing that technology move over into phones, which I'm assuming why they bought it, I mean, that gets rid of kind of the whole kind of software focus thing, you know, where it's like kind of glitchy on the edges. If you could do it optically, and Lytro probably knows how to figure it out, that's why they bought it, then you got an awesome. I mean, that's a smartphone that I will fucking definitely purchase if you can do that, because I'm a big camera guy on my smartphone. It's a big reason why. That's a big reason why I purchase a certain smartphones for the camera, and Lytro is a cool name.
Yeah,
it's a cool name.
It is.
But I know which phone I'm looking into next.
Yeah, but
we'll find out later.
Oh, okay. But no, I was gonna say like, no, this could make some really cool phone stuff. Part of me, okay, this would be the stupidest product ever. Put it in an S cam.
Cam Lytro?
Yeah, dude.
Oh my god, that would be the stupidest product ever.
Yeah, dude,
But
it'd be so dumb. But
why
like,
not?
if you like, just put a big fucking camera in the corner of your room, you got everything in focus. You got everything in focus.
All right, moving on. Some more Google news. Google makes paying for news much simpler. Google just made paying for the news dead simple. Publications from around the world are ready to take your money.
I think this is cool.
Yeah, good journalism is worth paying for. Full stop. As a part of a larger plan to help valuable reporting thrive in an age where content is a commodity, Google unveiled a new tool for publishers called Subscribe that makes it trivial to what else? Subscribe to premium news services.
I think Apple did this too at some point.
Yeah, they have this.
Yeah. No, but this is just, it's basically very similar to that. It just makes it so you can subscribe to a vast amount of news sources, sites, whatever, that offer a subscription based like plan. You can just do it with your Google account.
Yeah.
Like, so more stuff like that I'm always for.
Yeah. Yeah, the way that Apple does it's they have a news app, and there's always like news headlines, and you could read a ton of news on there. But like, you know, New York Times, Washington Post, you only get a certain amount of articles, and you can purchase their subscription, which gives you access to everything. And the way that Apple does it, when you purchase their subscription, you can sign into it in the news app, and then it's just, you know, you get whatever
Now,
you want.
can you
there.
get it? And can you get it everywhere else outside of the news?
Yeah, yeah. Essentially,
Okay,
you just
Yeah.
you get it on there, like you don't buy it on Apple. You buy it through those companies, and you sign into it in the Apple app. So this is
okay.
different, where you just
Right,
sign into
this
it
is
one
that.
place and then read
this
it in
is
one place.
this would be subscribed to. This is from your Google account, so it's attached to like if you buy drive storage, if you pay for G Suite, things like that, and it would
Yeah.
just go straight through Google.
This is a lot easier. And
Like
I would
if-
do it.
like
I
if
would
you have
definitely
a
do it this
sign-
way.
Yeah, like if you have a sign in with Google button, you can also just hit a hey, I'll pay for it with Google too.
Yeah, which is dope. I love that shit too. So, and I pay for news, but I only do one website, and I'll sometimes switch. I usually do New York Times and Washington Post, and I'll switch between. Like right now, I have a New York Times subscription because, dude, news subscriptions are expensive. You know, you talk about fucking Netflix and HBO. The news is where you're actually spending a good amount of money. But I read the New York Times a lot, so I figured I'm gonna get a subscription here because I like to read more than 5 articles a week.
The three I've paid for the most have been, New York Times, Washington Post, and Wired, because they did a new subscription based, and I'm trying it out.
I didn't know that Wired has one.
They just started it this year, I think. Pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like the start of the year, it might have been at the end of last year.
Jerry, how do you have any money left? How are
Carefully,
you not living in a fucking cardboard box?
carefully, and a lot of potatoes, basically.
He cuts his corners where they need to be cut, man. He gets that.
Oh my God,
he gets
dude.
that 1-ply toilet paper.
Like Jerry just listed off like 17 different subscription-based programs. It's like, goddamn, man.
I like subscriptions,
and I
though.
won't do them all at once. Like I'll do it like when it's talking, but like I'm trying out Wired, but usually it's Washington Post. Sometimes it's the New York Times. But the other thing too is like I don't pay for cable or anything else. I choose the cheapest options of everything.
That's it, dude. News is something that I recommend. At least something. If it's not the paper, then get something. You know.
Yeah, that's basically what this is. This is replacing my paper subscription.
Right.
I mean, unfortunately, I usually just scroll through
Reddit?
our news and our world news.
Don't do that, dude. I'm telling you, you're gonna fucking end up hating the world.
That dude.
You gotta get
Well,
that
I mean,
good
I don't know,
shit.
dude. It's one of those like good journalisms are supporting.
Exactly.
Like, we do need it. And as much as the fake news trend memes gone everywhere, like we do actually need real news.
Well, if you think about it like this, how like, all right, you could pay for cable TV and get, you know, a shitload of just shitty fucking TV, or you could pay for something like Netflix and HBO. The news is kind of the same way. You know, you could pay for shitty fucking fake news, half of it's fake, half of it's bullshit, or you could pay for some really good journalism, you know?
Yeah, I'd rather pay for a paper than fucking CNN or Fox News in a heartbeat.
Right.
I You know, personally, I get all my news from BuzzFeed. So
You get all your news from Doobie. Doobie just hits you up with fucking text.
yeah. Like I hit up Doobie like once a day, and I'm like, hey, what's happening today?
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, well, you know, in Saudi Arabia.
All right, let's roll through this news. We got some more stories. I don't want to make this episode too long. AMD promises updates for Rise and Fall and all the other catchy name flaws.
Dude, these flaw names are fucking crazy. Like, they all look like they could be a tag in, like a tag title to like a Die Hard movie.
Yeah.
Rise and Fall.
No, dude, right? Yeah.
Chimera.
I guarantee. No, not even that. Like, I guarantee you, literally the guy whose job it was to do this, because they very obviously paid someone to do this, because that's all they fucking cared about with these flaws.
Master.
It was the dudes there just fucking high as shit, just watching through James Bond, like, dude, Rise and Fall.
I mean, it's a sick name.
Chimera.
That's a sick name, dude.
Fuck.
You know what game I really like? Fallout. Like, what the fuck is this?
All right. Yeah, so they're promising, updates on that. So hopefully we get them soon.
And hopefully we find out what the fuck the actual flaws are.
I don't know. I don't know. Do you think they'll fucking release that information?
It
To the
said
public?
security protocols, so that's a little bit scary.
Yeah, no, they've like released more information, but still not enough. Like in comparison to most security flaws, like Meltdown and stuff like that, like you could get basically a decent white paper of like, oh, that's how this works. This is still very much like there's a flaw in the back door.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Yeah, we need a little bit more.
Like in layman's terms, at least. Like there is more info out there for tech, like super hardcore security nerds, but like translating it's a joke.
In the layman's.
Yeah.
They're gonna have a leak of information that tells everybody what's wrong with it, and they're just gonna call it Oathbreaker.
That's pretty good, dude. All right, the follow-up to TCL's acclaimed 4K HDR Roku TV is coming May 1st, and I'm actually very interested in this. TCL on Tuesday announced its forthcoming 6 series of 4K TVs will be available to purchase by May 1st. The TVs were first announced at CES trade show in January. Now, TCL, the reason why people were fucking freaking out about that TV.
Isn't this like an upgraded P6 or the P600?
Yep, it's just an upgrade. Their new version, which is a super cheap, dope HDR 4K TV with smart Roku implanted in it, which is awesome. Everyone, this is going to open the doors to 4K now, and then hopefully push everything else to getting more 4K, TV channels, more 4K movies, more, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I think most people I've seen, like, that TV last year was the TV to buy unless you were spending like over $2,000.
Yep.
Like it was a $550, $600 TV that was better than literally everything less than $2,000.
Yep.
What's the price point at on this TV?
This is saying the 6 series in particular is the follow-up to last year's P6 series TV, which garnered near unanimous praise from reviewers and is generally considered the best TV on the market for less than $1,000. You're probably gonna look at like $600 to $700, I would say.
The one it's replacing
not bad at all for a 4K TV, because I don't know.
HDR that's actually good and is rated better than everything under $2,000.
And it's big.
It has a Roku box in it.
And it's big. Yeah. It's not like a 32-inch. This is like a 56-inch TV, which is fucking big.
Yeah, but they all are now.
Yeah, sure.
Like you can get them all now. Like, because I mean, that's not even like the cheapest. The thing that's good about this is it's full HDR10. It had good brightness, and the quality was really good. Because even TCL themselves, you could get a 55-inch TV for less than $400. That was still HDR 4K. Mm-hmm. Like it was like $350, $370, $360. I think it was on Amazon for $360.
Yeah. Yeah, they're saying here that there's no price set, but it's gonna be they're gonna start at around the same price they did last time, which is $650 for the 55-inch set. So it'll probably be around the same price, maybe a little bit more since it'll be new. But that's fucking dope. That's fucking dope. This is gonna be the TV. TCL's killing it, man. Because I mean, if you're a competitor to Vizio, which is that brand's kind of main dominator, this is how you do it. You release an HDR10. 4K, like great nits, everything that you need. at a good price, and that's it. Everyone wants it, you know.
Oh yeah, like that TV last year was for the same price. It was better than every Sony and Samsung.
Yeah, you couldn't touch it unless you started to get it, like you said, above $2,000, and that's when you get into the new technologies.
I can't count how long I actually spent at various Best Buys watching that TV last year.
I don't know how they were able to get the price. I don't know what kind of production thing they have going on to get the price down that low, or if there's just that much of a markup on those name brands. But, you know, who knows? That's their secret sauce. All right, so remember that Uber guy, the Uber that killed the pedestrian. We got the dash cam footage, and we're going to watch it here. Hopefully, you know, no one in our comments section gets us arrested.
I was about to say, are you about to like make us move
YouTube.
to live leak?
Nope, YouTube would be the ones getting arrested.
Okay, all right, we're good. So,
well, actually, no, both of us now. Never mind. Fuck.
Oh, we both would be liable. Fuck.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll roll the dice here. So, for one, the person, the woman behind the wheel, the safety driver, it looks like she's texting, and it looks like a she, or they say it's a she, but it looks like a he. She mix. I don't know. I mean, if you look at the video, it's hard to tell if this is a woman or a man. But I think it's a woman. Doesn't really matter. All right. But anyways, you could see the first part of the video. It's basically super dark out. And then all of a sudden you see this fucking bike pop, this person walking their bike across this fucking parkway, which is, if this is going to happen without self-driving, that person's getting hit. There's no way you can react in the time that this person was able to see, this person walking. They were going to be able to stop. Like, this person was definitely getting hit either way. The problem is that it's using LiDAR, and the car sensors can see the same way it sees in daytime. So the brightness doesn't affect it. And the fact that the sensors didn't catch it is super interesting. You know, it just didn't pick it up that it was anything. It just went right through the radar and just bang, they plow into it. Now, you don't see in the video of them actually getting hit, thank God, but you can see how it was like, it's vital to know that no matter what, this person was going to get hit if it was just a human driver. And then if you look at the dash or the interior footage, you can see that the passenger, it looks like they're texting. You know, their eyes aren't focused on the road. And then at the very last second, you can see that they look up and they start panicking, you know, right here, boom. And they obviously fucking nail it. So that last part is where it's going to get interesting. That last part is where they're going to contend if this person was focused on the road, which they should have been, well, then this might have not happened.
No, I think it was happening regardless, because like you said, that's just so dimly lit. But them focusing or not is going to be dependent on if they get indicted for fucking manslaughter.
Yeah. I mean, because like if you're in that situation, you might as well just be driving. You know what I mean? If you're not, if you have to constantly be focused on the road, and you're behind one of these self-driving cars, you might as well just fucking be driving. So what's the point of having a self-driving car if you can't, shoot a text off or something? And it's just going to be really difficult for anyone in this situation to defend that this person, that this wasn't their fault in any way, Now, if there was no electronic self-automated driving car involved, everyone would be like, this person's stupid for walking across the parkway at night on their bike. You know what I mean? Like, only now that a self-driving car is involved, now it's like a big issue. You know what I'm saying?
Not only that, was it not smart of them, it was also probably not smart to be lazily shuffling across the road when a car is that close. I mean, I don't know. Pedestrians always have the right of way, but that's some natural selection shit right there. Like,
yeah.
Like that, like not only was the passenger not paying attention, that guy obviously wasn't paying attention. So I don't know. It's just really terrible all around.
Yeah. But this is like the worst situation you could possibly have for a self-driving automated car. Two people not paying attention and the car malfunctions. What are the fucking odds, But hey, man, it's going to happen, and now we're going to have to deal with it. Do I think that this person behind the wheel should be liable for the death of this other person? No, I do not believe so. But I also don't think that I don't want to say the pedestrian is solely to blame here, but what are you doing? You're walking across the parkway on at night with your bike. Like, why aren't you riding on the bike? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Why aren't you at least walking at a brisk pace? Why, when you cross a road, why don't you look? I mean,
like, is it your fault if someone jumps out in front of you and you hit them? No. You know what I mean? And this is almost as bad. So it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting. If Uber takes a hit on this, I think that's going to wrap them up, dude. I mean, they're already losing. There was an article that we took out, but they're already losing $1 billion a quarter. They're hurting, dude. And I don't want Uber to go because I fucking use Uber all the time.
Yeah. And who wants to go back to hostile taxi drivers?
Well, who wants to go back to Lyft? You know, I'm not using Lyft. The fuck? All right. Donald Glover leaves Deadpool series due to creative differences. Creative differences affect films from Solo to Deadpool, but franchises soldier on. This is from Washington Post.
He was apparently signed on to do 10 episodes of the Deadpool cartoon, which I didn't even know was a thing.
Which would have been awesome.
He backed out. Donald Glover has way too much on his plate between Atlanta, Lion King, the Han Solo movie, his music career.
No, his music career is over with. He's done with his music.
Is it over?
That's what he says.
He's touring.
That's what he says.
I mean, he's also touring, though.
Oh, well, then there you go.
He's coming to Philly in September.
What the fuck's he doing?
He does everything.
He really, dude, he's really like the most talented guy on the planet next to Elon Musk.
I was about to say, Wayne, I think Doobie's point is, what is he not doing?
He's not doing a Deadpool cartoon is what he's not doing.
He's like, I wouldn't say, actually, you know what? Never mind. He's not like Nick Cage. The Rock is like Nick Cage because The Rock's in everything now. And they're all bad.
No. I heard
Jumanji was alright.
I heard Jumanji's fucking dope.
But
I wouldn't say Jumanji was fucking dope, but it's definitely worth a watch. It's entertaining.
I'm just saying. Remember when Once Upon a Time, every other trailer was Nick Cage is in something.
Yeah, now it's The Rock.
I wouldn't say that The Rock is as bad yet because The Rock still has charisma.
He's still like fun.
Yeah, if I see The Rock, I'm like, yeah, I'm at least gonna laugh a few times. Like I'm not gonna laugh. I mean, I'm gonna laugh at Nicolas Cage in a movie, but I'm laughing at Nicolas Cage. There's a difference.
Have you guys seen Ghost Rider?
Yeah, fucking
so
Ghost Rider.
That was the best Nicolas Cage and the best superhero movie ever made. And I'll fight anyone Face Off, dude. But Ghost Rider, come on, where he's pissing. And that one scene,
Wicker Man was good too.
Wicker Man.
The bees! Dude,
but yeah, Donald Glover is like, I mean, I don't know anybody who really had a hand in all the media like he does.
No, he's like the most talented dude ever on the planet. Easily.
Yeah, like that's the difference between him and somebody like Nick Cage. Like Donald Glover's good and is successful.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage made one good movie and somehow rode that success as a crazy character actor.
He did Adaptation and that was it.
Well, no, but to give him credit, he was great at that role. You just have to definitely have him in that role.
Have you ever seen The Weatherman? I mean, The Weatherman, I think, was his perfect role as just himself.
Raising Arizona was good.
Yeah.
Gone in 60 Seconds wasn't bad.
I mean, we can sit here and start rattling off all Nick Cage movies for the rest of the podcast if you guys wanted to.
What you got to say about next, though?
Con Air.
All right, well, anyways.
Oh, my God.
Donald Glover, creative differences probably just means he just doesn't want to do it anymore, so who cares? Anything he touches turns to gold, so I'm excited for whatever he's got going on. Dropbox IPO. So Dropbox finally went public with their company, DBX. They're on the NASDAQ. Any of you guys interested in finance? Heard about this because, I mean, they straight up mooned as soon as they hit the stock floors, which is good for Dropbox. The problem is, just like every other fucking tech company, how do they make money?
The problem is they needed to do this 4 years ago.
Yeah, I don't understand how they're going to make money. I don't know the long-term plan here. Are they going to introduce... Because you're competing against Google, you're competing against Amazon, you're competing against these massive infrastructures that can offer whatever you're offering at a much cheaper price. And when you're talking about data storage rather, it's not like one data storage is better than the other. It all has to do with size and has to do with price. So if they could be competitive in that sense, well, then they got somewhere, they can do something. I guess opening up by becoming public, they can now, I don't know, make their service better in some way, but we'll see. It seems like there's a lot of interest in it. I think just because it's a tech company and a lot of these Wall Street guys, they just want to buy tech, unless they know something we don't know.
They want to buy tech and then they want to drop it 2 weeks later.
Yeah. That's usually what happens after.
We're dropping it.
Usually what happens with a lot of these kind of tech companies that don't make money. Like Snapchat, same thing happened with Snapchat. Everyone was like, cool, let's buy the Snapchat IPO, let's invest, and then figure out if they're going to make money, and then they don't,
Do you want, if you want a briefer of tech stocks and truly understanding the craziness that is investing in the tech stocks, just look at Uber. There's your case study. Just look at Uber.
Yeah, but at least Uber has Uber
it's billions of dollars handed to them all of the fucking time and are celebrating about we only lost 100 billion this year, guys. Like, oh wait, that was Snapchat. That's even worse.
At least Uber Uber has a revenue stream. Like you can look at Uber.
It was the same as Dropbox. Uber loses money on every single drive. Yeah, but they subsidize their drivers so much. They literally lose money every single time someone takes an Uber.
Yeah, but they can figure out a way to profitize that. You know what I mean? Whereas Dropbox, or rather Snapchat, what are you just going to take ads? You're just going to sell ad space? You know what I mean? It's not like a simple transaction there. And I don't understand how these profits so big. I guess they just pop them up. They just invest in the first quarter and then they just sell it right off.
Yeah, it's unicorn. Like you're either hoping for a long call that this tech company is going to be the next Facebook, or you're gonna dump it in a couple of weeks once the price goes down.
Yeah. So I think what we'll do is we'll keep an eye on Dropbox in the next Q3. We'll look at them in next Q3. We'll see where they're at. If they're down, well then you can bet it's because they just followed the trend.
I mean, yeah, Snapchat's another great one there when like their yearly earnings report is like them celebrating over only having lost $100 billion this year.
All right. Let's talk about this and then we'll talk about Facebook. Well, the OnePlus X or the OnePlus 6 looks like the iPhone 10. I don't know why all Android companies are putting a notch now when they don't need to.
Because fuck if I know, yeah.
Well, actually, what I think is funny too is now Apple is looking at micro LED technology to get rid of the notch because now they can put the screen around all of the little things that they need to put it around, and they can hide some stuff underneath the screen. So they might even be getting rid of the notch where all these companies who are putting the notch on there to kind of take some of that steam, I guess, are going to have the notch.
Well, okay, you have to think of where a lot of these phones are going to be sold. And something I've noticed, they're all Chinese companies. The Korean companies haven't done this yet. Like, your LGs, your Samsungs, they haven't bitten this. But like, Oppo, which is basically whoever owns Oppo and one other company also owns OnePlus. That's why their phones usually look very similar. Aver Tech or whatever. Fucking Vizio, Asus, all of Asus's new phones have a stupid notch in them.
They're all Chinese.
Yeah, almost all of the super cheap ones coming out of China are having the notches on them.
And because China loves bootlegs, they're going to see a bootleg iPhone, and they're going to say, of course I want it because it's cheaper and it looks like the iPhone.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Might sound racist.
I don't know why they're actually doing. I don't know why they're actually doing that, but I think that's why, because there's just as many Chinese companies who aren't doing that. But that market's so huge that half of them probably don't have big design teams that are just like, oh, that's the phone this year. Okay.
Right. Yeah, definitely the notch and the chin, not a good look, dude. Not a good look. But whatever. I say, dude, fuck the notch. If you have to have a chin, just give me the aspect ratio, the 16:9 aspect ratio. I'm fine with that. You know, I don't need to be doing all this crazy shit.
It's been growing on me a little bit, but I'm still not a fan.
Yeah, it's just not quite there yet.
I will. I'd see the amount of shitty, cheap budget crossovers or like copycat attempts have made me also like iPhone's version of it a lot more.
That's what Apple likes to do, man. They just, for some reason, they just start to look good, dude. As you get all these fucking cheap like plastic shit.
No, they're not just so it looks good. I still hate the phone. It's $1,000 feels like an iPod. I like the 8 a lot more, dude. I don't know, dude. They just made it. They made it the bag too much like an iPod Classic, and I'm like, this is dope nostalgia wise. And then I'm like, wait, this costs like the price of 5 iPods, and I'm gonna drop this in a second.
Well, you might like the new iPhone SE that they're coming out with, because it basically is like an iPhone 10. But in what the renders that we were looking at, it looks like an iPhone 5S, which is the squared kind of thing, which I like.
Same. No, the rumors, I'm definitely looking into what Apple's doing this upcoming year. I like what I've been hearing from the rumor farm from them.
Yeah.
But the big point about this, I don't know if it'll actually look like this, because they might also change it. But I could at least live with this. It's not the best looking phone by any means, but I mean, dude, OnePlus is always going to have a special spot in my heart because they make a damn good phone. It's hella cheap that has a headphone jack.
Yeah, you're a headphone
stock
user.
Android. Like, it's really hard to beat that if you got it at a competitive price. IMO.
No, OnePlus is they're a competitor for sure, dude. People love the fact that it's just straight up stock, and the notch is something that people can cry about, but at the end of the day, it doesn't bother you that much. You know what I mean? It's still like, it kind of looks cool how the things kind of wrap around a little, like how the screen kind of bends, and it's not that big of a deal.
I think it makes more, I don't know, it makes more sense to me on Android than it does on iOS. I think that's part of my problem too. And that's just how they each of them deal with their notifications.
Well, like the problem with the OnePlus having it doesn't have all of that stuff up there. It's really
it's just a notch to have a fucking notch.
Yeah.
Because why not? I guess. And no, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah. All right, last kind of thing, tech news, and we got a couple other things. We're out of here. Facebook scraped call and text message data for years from Android phones. This has also been updated right here. We're at March 25th. It says Facebook has responded to this and other reports regarding the collection of call and SMS data with a blog post that denies Facebook collected call data surreptitiously. The company also writes that it never sells the data and that users are in control of the data uploaded to Facebook. This quote-unquote fact check contradicts several details Ars Technica found in an analysis of Facebook data downloads and testimony from users who provided the data. More on the Facebook response is appended to the end of the original article below. And then essentially what happened was there was a couple of users that sent over their shit to Ars Technica, and it proved that Facebook was scraping some data off of their Android devices. Now, I pose the question, is it time to delete Facebook?
I mean,
that time was like 7 years ago.
Yeah, I was going to say that time was, for me, that time was about 5 years ago, but I unfortunately got dragged back into it. But you can't really delete it. You can only, deactivate it.
Yeah, you can't delete it. But you can deactivate and stop using it, which is a big thing. So it's like, for someone like myself, I need Facebook to run a business. Unfortunately, it's just how it works in today's world. So I think having like like using it as a social media is a terrible idea these days. At least right now, until they fix their shit, man. But then again, I love Instagram. I love Instagram. I think Instagram is the best social media platform out there, and it's fucking Facebook.
And I was just saying, that's the hardest part, actually.
Right.
Like that's Facebook's entire ace in the sleeve is, oh yeah, we bought out Instagram. Are you gonna quit Instagram?
Yep. And no, I won't fucking quit Instagram. And if they start scraping my data because I'm using Instagram and tracking No Life Digital because we have an Instagram account attached to the website, and you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how far it is that I can actually go to just say I can't use Facebook products. I think until I actually see them, you know, like actual proof of them selling my specific data, I don't know, because I don't know the implications of them having certain data on me, selling it to advertisers. I just haven't been faced with that implications personally. You know what I mean? Like, it hasn't been used against me in some way, so it's hard for me to relate. It's hard for me to relate to Edward Snowden when he says this is a fucking security issue and this is we're under mass surveillance. We're in a mass surveillance state, and it's like, I understand that, but I don't see the implications of that right now. So it's hard for me to give up the social media society that we live in, you know?
Well, yeah, because if you're doing it right, you're not going to.
Yeah.
If I'm properly using all of this data you're giving me, you're never gonna know you're giving me this data.
Right.
Like, if you're doing it properly, like, you're not.
And it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to kind of relate to that. It's hard to put an enemy to that. Now, scraping, you know, text and shit is pretty insane. And I use Facebook Messenger a lot, so it's like, you know, they're definitely selling some sort of data out of there.
This is all for Messenger, pretty much.
Yeah, man. So it's difficult. It's a difficult thing to kind of face for me personally, because, like I said, if I'm just someone who doesn't use it as part of their business, it's easy to kind of just say, okay, I won't use Facebook anymore. I can still use Instagram. I can still use whatever. I just won't text anyone from it. But in this case, it's a lot more difficult, and I guess until I face some sort of implications put in front of me, I don't know if I can say that I can definitively stop using it. But I will stop actually posting on or using Facebook's profile thing. You know what I mean? Like having like updating shit on Facebook like I do on Twitter.
It also affects Facebook Lite devices, okay?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, dude. You know those old Facebook phones? Yeah, dude.
Windows Facebook app? Windows Facebook phone, Facebook app, or Windows app Facebook phone, whatever the fuck it's called. All right, we got a new section called Elon News, where we talk about Elon Musk. And today, we got some interesting stories coming out. Elon acts like a cool guy and deletes his Facebook page. So this was pretty funny. Yeah, this is pretty funny. Someone posted, or he posted on Twitter, he said, "What's Facebook?" right after the whole Facebook debacle popped up. And then someone was like, "Hey, dum-dum, you're fucking, you know, SpaceX has a Facebook and so does Tesla has a Facebook." And then he was like, "Oh, they do? Really?" Obviously, he knows this. I don't think for 1 second he didn't know this, because he's not an idiot. But then he ended up deleting them, which I thought was pretty interesting. And then here he wrote, "Instagram's probably okay in my opinion, so long as it stays fairly independent. I don't use Facebook and never have, so don't think I'm some kind of martyr or my companies are taking a huge blow. Also, we don't advertise or pay for endorsements, so don't care." Now, essentially, the reason why he did this was a little bit of a PR thing, but also because he's Elon Musk and he likes to kind of troll around. But
yeah, it was a definitely huge PR thing, but it was also like, I mean, he just said it right there. It was just like, when have you ever seen an advertisement?
Yeah.
And that's what's point was like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, he doesn't need to use it. He doesn't use it. But I thought it was interesting that he said Instagram's okay because it's fucking Facebook. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care if they operate independently. It's still Facebook, and you can bet your bottom dollar that Instagram is selling data off of its users, guaranteed.
I will disagree that he doesn't pay for advertising. He doesn't pay for advertising online, but he pays for advertising.
He pays somewhere. He pays.
No, dude, how many fucking?
He pays it somewhere.
Dude, there are so many Tesla showrooms now that literally it's a giant advertisement. That's all it is.
He doesn't pay for traditional, you know, ads, but you're absolutely right. He pays for advertising somewhere else. But he's Elon, so he kind of get away with shit like that, you know, saying dumb shit. And then he goes on to further clarify. Someone said, someone wrote, or Tesla, I guess, Tesla Motor Clubs wrote, "Tesla and SpaceX leave Facebook after Twitter users encourage Musk." And then he wrote, "It's not a political statement, and I didn't do this because someone dared me to do it. I just don't like Facebook. Gives me the willies. Sorry." And And again, I don't believe him there. I believe that it was just him kind of just being a weird rich dude. And there's no implications for him deleting it. Like he said, he doesn't really kind of use it at all. So fuck it, delete it. And then on better Elon news, I found out today that his estranged father, we know that Elon hates his fucking dad and tries, his best. I mean, he's amassed billions of dollars. He shot rockets to Mars. He's doing all these crazy things, I think, because he's trying to prove to his dad how much better he is than his dad. I honestly think that's deep down inside what makes Elon. It's his hatred for his father. And now we find out.
Reading this story, I think it's also no, dude. He does not want to be on the same fucking planet.
He's trying to get out off the same.
That's the real motivation.
Yeah. Or he's trying to just shoot his father.
Oh, yeah.
Or he's just trying to shoot his father into fucking space one day. But
he's like, yeah, we'll be giving civilians rides, spaceship rides. First up, my dad.
Yeah. But we found out that his father has a child with his stepdaughter and says it's God's plan. The young woman was only 4 years old when Elon Musk married her mother. Technology magnate Elon Musk apparently has a good reason for being angry with his estranged father. He revealed that he had a child with his stepdaughter, and he called the baby God's plan. The older Musk told the Sunday Times of London this weekend that he fathered a son with 30-year-old Jana Buridurut, the daughter of his former wife Heidi. Jana, who is Elon's younger stepsister, was 4 years old when her mother wed Errol, a union that lasted 18 years before the pair got divorced. This is insane, dude. This is crazy.
That's some Confederate shit right there.
Well, do you think marrying your step whatever is considered incest?
No,
it's not
like
blood.
In like a lawful way, no. Like a technical way, no. But it is.
But it's weird, yeah. It's fucking weird.
It's weird as fuck and highly frowned upon.
Yeah, it's super.
And
weird.
if it's not, then it fucking should be. That's some Woody Allen shit.
Yeah. Well, what kind of worries me is like, he married her, so he was throughout the years he was probably grooming her. You know what I mean? Like she probably doesn't even realize it's him controlling all it. He probably groomed her to marry him, and I guess it worked because it's fucking. They have a kid now, so
she never pieced it together that once she hit puberty, he put her on a strict diet and made her.
Oh no, dude! He never saw her, according to him. They were rarely in touch, so it never seemed like a daughter.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm fucking sure. Well, if you want to know, if your fucking family's crazy, you might turn into Elon Musk. Who knows? At least we know he comes from a crazy ass family. Lastly, cryptocurrency news. Bitmain is shaking up AMD and Nvidia stocks. Analyst slashes AMD Nvidia price targets on new cryptocurrency mining chip from China. So Bitmain, we hear through rumors that their ASIC mining technology has been completed, and now analysts are thinking hopefully this will help drive down some of those GPU prices and hopefully kind of open up the GPU market back to gamers where it belongs, and kind of alleviate that problem for the gaming section. Do I think that's going to happen? I'm not sure if these ASIC miners are going to take off. I don't know if someone's going to trade their entire rig for an ASIC miner. I don't know exactly much about them. I don't know how much throughput they need.
They're super into crypto, probably. But anyone else, no.
Yeah. So are these ASIC miners just they mine a lot more efficiently than a graphics card would?
I would assume. Yeah, no, that's how ASIC miners always have been. Like every ASIC miner's always been way better.
Yeah.
And pretty much most graphics cards.
So Bitmain is actually looking pretty right now, Interesting. Let's see if we have any prices here. As a result, the analyst lowered his price target for AMD shares to $7.50 from $13, representing 29% downside from Friday's close. He also reduced his forecast for NVIDIA shares to $200 from $215, but did not downgrade the company. NVIDIA has a stronger and more durable gaming franchise, which would help it work through this potential Ethereum-related unwind, which kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense. And then lastly, Twitter will start banning cryptocurrency ads tomorrow.
The thing with that, though, the one thing I will say is, like, Is it gonna be more efficient? Yeah. Like if it's anything like their normal ASIC miners, like from Bitmain, like it'll be hella more efficient. The problem Bitmain's always had is like
Getting them.
they sell like 10. Like that's obviously like an exaggeration, but like seriously, probably the amount of people who want one versus the amount of people who get one, there's probably like 50 people who want one versus the one person who actually can get it.
Yeah.
But you have to wait on a wait list for these things.
Hopefully, though, it just alleviates.
Or overpay hella, like a lot.
Yeah, which might, if you overpay, it might make a return. But who knows? Ethereum keeps getting more difficult to mine. So, and then Twitter will be blocking cryptocurrency-related ads tomorrow. The company confirmed in a statement to The Verge. The move also follows other social media platforms like Reddit back in 2016 and more recently Facebook and Google, which have already banned cryptocurrency ads. Mainly, again, I think this leads into the FOSTA stuff because, that's where people make transactions for that's how they make transactions for child pornography, sex slavery, and shit like that. It's through the cryptocurrencies. And I think that is one reason why they're going to be locking that down so they kind of alleviate that risk. And, it takes a big hit off for the crypto scene when you can't really advertise certain things, but it doesn't necessarily hurt its price. Some quotes here.
Won't be able to see ICO ads, thank Christ.
Like Vapecoin?
For real, dude. Then, like, the other thing I can see this going after is, like, I could see a lot of those not Bitcoin, like crypto ads just being a cesspool for putting in JavaScript miners.
Yep.
Like, straight up. Like, that would be the first place you'd put them.
I guarantee you 90% of those ads are scams anyway. There's some way to kind of get something out of you, So it doesn't. Anyone who's seriously interested in crypto, it doesn't really affect you that much. It affects you if you're trying to be a crypto company and you can't advertise like an exchange or like a legit company. But But
if you're that worried at this point, you missed the boat 6 years ago.
Yeah, there's other outlets to do it. There's a whole community out there that know where to find their information for that shit. All right, that's it. That's it for the tech portion of the show. We'll catch you guys next week. Make sure you hit up our website, nolife.digital. Just type it in your browser, click enter, bookmark it, read all the stuff on there. Subscribe to our website or to our YouTube channel. Make sure you hit up our Twitter and our Instagram at nolifedigital and our Twitch. Yeah, follow us up over there. I'm going to be twitching some Far Cry quite soon, so make sure you follow us. And we'll catch y'all later. Peace. No, definitely do.